Hi, welcome. I'm so excited to be here today. My name is Marisa Mefe, and I'm here talking with the wonderful Nicole Servinas. She is a former YCDSB alumna and a reporter with Breakfast Television. Thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thanks for having me. I know this is different times, strange times. I wish I could be in person with everybody, but hopefully this will be helpful for everybody.
Awesome. It definitely will. And I know it's a little bit interesting to have to talk to one another at a distance, but thank you again for taking some time. I know you have a very, very busy schedule, so I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And kind of our focus for today is we want to help our students to really understand the importance of planning and thinking about your career pathway as young as your elementary school days. And so what we'd like to hear from you is how some of your experiences in elementary school and in secondary school help to push you along this career path and how your career continues to evolve. Okay, so ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, then. So we're going to start right away. So can you share with us some experiences you had in elementary school or high school that may have guided your career pathway into becoming a reporter?
I would definitely say one of the main kind of um, things I was looking at to help direct me were the subjects that I chose. And this is, again, I guess this pertains more so to the grade nines, but a lot of the subjects I chose to take as electives and whatnot were interests or passions that I had, or that I really didn't even realize how passionate I was about them. That being said, things like media studies, writer's craft. My high school offered Comtech. So it was those subjects where I got to be really hands-on. And for me, that was what I needed to kind of confirm that that's something that I enjoyed doing because it had that practical element to it. But then it was even like, honestly, conversations like this with like guidance counselors and with teachers, learning about professions and careers that I didn't even know existed. It was like, these are all the things that I like. So what can I do with this? So having that kind of direction was super helpful to have throughout my years in elementary school and in high school.
That's awesome. And I think that's a really important message to give, is that to kind of find what it is that actually you are interested in and explore that, right, through the choices that are offered to you in high school through your electives. And I like that you talked about talking to people, right? Get feedback, because oftentimes there's a lot of jobs and careers out there that we don't even know exist, right? Unless you happen to talk to the right person who might know a little bit more and guide you that way, right? So honing in on those interests is something that's so important. So can you tell us a little bit about your role at Breakfast Television and the process involved in getting to where you are today?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a twist and turn sort of story. I fell in love with journalism in high school. That's when I knew it was around grade 10 when I found out that that's really what I wanted to do. And I did a co-op in high school actually for a semester at Rogers TV and Richmond Hill at our local TV station. It's not the same, unfortunately, like there aren't the same opportunities I know for kids now, so it's a little bit challenging. There are still other ones, just looks a little bit different. Read the landscape that we're all living in right now. Anywho, so I did a co-op there, and then I actually received a scholarship. I used to be a dancer, and I received a scholarship to go to Hawaii Pacific University, and
Wow.
I was on the dance team, but I went to school and studied journalism there. So I loved the program. I like wrote for the paper and was like very involved. I was like also 17, 18, very young. It was very far away for like my first time. And the dance was very intense. And I knew that's something that I didn't want to pursue anymore as a professional career. So I wanted to invest more time into my studies. So then I came back and I went to Ryerson for journalism and I transferred over my credits. And then throughout my years at Ryerson, I did a bunch of internships from Rogers to City TV and then at ET Canada. And that was so I did things outside of the program, and then in third year, you're required to do an actual formal internship. So I did internships prior to, and then in third year, I went to ET Canada, and it's funny because my professor at the time, you sit down with your professor, and they ask you where would you like to go, and they kind of advise you and tell you. And when I said that I really wanted to do that, she had said to me, "Oh, like I don't think that's a good idea because you're not gonna get it." It was like she like downplayed it to me, and I started like getting upset. I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "You're not gonna get it, so don't try." And I was like, okay. So I went home and I obviously tried. It's like, I
Thank
can't feel
goodness.
you
Thank
telling me that
goodness you
I
didn't
can't do
take her
it.
advice.
And then I got it, and I got the internship. And then after I graduated, I was still volunteering and working short contracts here and there. And then I got hired on a few months later, and then I was a producer there for 5 years. So I got to talk to so many celebrities, really cool people, and travel the world with work, which was an awesome experience. And then just about a year and a half ago, I got approached to be on breakfast television, and they had said, "Have you ever wanted to be in front of the camera?" And I said, "Actually, yeah. Like I've always gone back and forth with the idea, but I really love producing." Um, and so I did the interview, and I put a demo reel together, and I'll explain that in a little bit of what that is. And I got the job, and here I am a year and a half later into the role, and it's like a dream job. Honestly, I'm a community reporter, so I am out in the field every day, something new. I'm meeting new people every single day, and I'm kind of like the light, happy news person, which is
Yes.
also really great, especially in times like this. So I often shine a light on local businesses or fun things to do in the city, events, community heroes, things like that. So you typically try and bring good news to people, and it's rewarding for sure, because I mean, we get to highlight these incredible places and people and organizations. And at the same time, I feel honored, honestly, being in this position to be able to give people that platform. So it's been an awesome ride.
That's amazing. And I love the fact that the story changed a lot, right? You started off with a scholarship in dance, right? And it amounted into now this really different perspective. And then you're dealing with celebrities on one hand, and now you're shining good news during a global pandemic, right? So it just shows how your job and that definition of who you are and who you want to become constantly evolves. Even as you get into your adulthood and into your career, and that's amazing. So let's talk about this reel and stuff. So can you think back to when you had to create your first or your own portfolio?
So the first job, actually, application that I ever, formal job, in TV, what you do is you submit a demo reel. And what it is, it's a video compilation of your best work, whether it be that you're in front of the camera or behind the camera. So things that you've shot or edited, or if you did like a really great interview, and you kind of amalgamate your best work into, say, 2 to 5 minutes. And that's kind of on top of like a resume and a cover letter. That's what you would submit in TV to get a job. And so I remember this was said to me really early on, actually, probably in and around all of your age. And it was like, keep track of everything, save everything, no matter how good or bad it is, save, get a hard drive, whatever you need to do. Like you all probably have one. And save it. And not only was it so great because when I applied for the job, I had so much to work with. It was like, oh, I have this. But it was also a moment of it was a learning opportunity to see not only the growth, but like where you can improve on, or what was you thought your best was, and how you can get better. I mean, comparing that, having that physical work, it makes it a lot easier than trying to come up with things in your head. So that's something to
Yeah,
keep
and
in
having
mind.
to kind of go back in time and
Right,
say, oh, once upon a time I created that. You
right.
actually have it. Yeah.
Exactly. And it could be anything. Like even for these guys, it's like whether it's like an essay or like a test or a speech or whatever it is. It's like those things may seem irrelevant, or like you'll never use it again, or like why do I need to keep something like this? But looking back, I guarantee you there is information in that or something from that that you gained, or that will be helpful in the future moving forward.
Perfectly said. The total message that we've been trying to give to students, right? This idea of collect as much as you can, right? Then select what's relevant and be able to reflect and see how it's shown a pattern of growth or development. Absolutely. Thank you. So describe what your professional portfolio looks like and maybe how that has had to evolve over time too.
So my professional portfolio, it's interesting because it definitely has evolved with my job role in changing. So when I was a producer, I mean, you kind of take more of a backseat vibe, and it's more you're showcasing work as a whole, not so much yourself as a brand. And now that I'm stepping in front of the camera, I am the portfolio, so I am the
Mhm.
brand. So it's everything and anything from, I mean, there's like media opportunities outside of work there that have to do with work. And then there's work, like my day-to-day interviews and whatnot that that we are encouraged, of course, to promote and talk more about. And people have questions beyond the show. So our show is about 3 hours long, but often like our segments, which is like our time slot in the show, is only about, say, 3 to 4 minutes. And in 3 to 4 minutes, it's really hard sometimes to get in all that information. So we always encourage people to like reach out, like we'll tweet you back, or we'll write you back, or we'll email you, and that conversation is constantly going. So my professional portfolio, honestly, now in 2020 lives in the digital landscape. It's like
Yes.
that is the easiest way for me to communicate with people, to answer those questions, to feel close to people, to get the stories as well. Like that's how I find out where we're gonna go every day. I also produce myself, so what that means is I choose where we go or what we highlight, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, so I get written stories, or I'll get people approaching me saying, "Oh, do you think you could come here?" And it's really nice to be able to connect with people. And I know during COVID, it does make things harder because sometimes that physical connection is what kind of drives it home, or where you kind of feel that extra step of locking in that sort of relationship. But let me tell you, in the professional world right now, like living through this, we're doing this as well. Like we're doing so like, even though I'm out in the field, a lot of our show, I would say actually 90% of our show is still being done virtually. And that's how we've kind of pivoted. And so these are the times that we're living in. And I encourage everyone to not be discouraged by this. It's like, this does not mean that your dreams or your goals or your pathway needs to come to a halt. It's like, this is the time, if anything, now that you're home, like you can connect with someone all over the world. Like, don't be hesitant. And everyone is home. So they're going to answer you. They're going to be more likely to answer if you have questions, or if you want to try something or whatever. It's like, this is, in fact, I know it's like, you can be down and out, and it sucks. But at the same time, think of it as an opportunity, because, I mean, let's hope that this never happens again. But try and use this as a positive.
Right.
Yeah.
And even just as an opportunity for our students to say, you're home now, now you have time to start building your own kind of personal brand. And how can you collect ideas that have shown your personal growth? Because I feel almost, hopefully, globally, a lot of us have changed a lot since March, right? Things have been forced into perspective. So it's a kind of good time to kind of pause, reflect, and move forward. And I think you offer great suggestions of reach out to people, because now is the best time. A lot of people aren't maybe as busy as they would like to be. So if you are concerned or interested in certain career paths, it's a perfect opportunity right now to do that. Okay, I think we have one last question for you, and that is a great one, I think. So what advice would you offer to students who are trying to discover their interests, their strengths, and their future pathway options?
I would say the biggest thing is, don't be afraid of failure. I know that's easier said than done. And as someone who is a little bit of a perfectionist and has like OCD tendencies, I went through a phase of not trying things because I was scared to fail, or because I didn't want to not succeed. And I think it's just the wrong way to approach things. I think the more that you fail, the smarter and stronger you'll be, because A, you'll know not to do that again, and B, it might push you closer to where you're supposed to be. So yeah, I just, don't be afraid. It's a part of learning. And I guarantee you, anyone who is in any position right now has failed several times to get to where they are. It's almost like reverse like success, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's part of the process, right? Like if you go back and look at your own story, you started on the pathway of dance, right? And are you going to look at all those years dedicated to dance as failure or wasted time? No, because it offered you, a different path to this end result, right? Think of the confidence you may have established because of that, and the friends and the contacts. Like, I truly believe that no experience is a lost experience, right? And especially, like you said, those opportunities where you make mistakes, we tend to learn more than when we don't make mistakes. Nicole,
you said that so perfectly. Listen to her. She knows what she's talking about, okay?
Thank you. And on behalf of YCDSB, on behalf of the Pathways team, and we just really appreciate you taking this time, because I know that you are busy, and the students really will benefit from hearing a lesson from someone other than us. So thank you so much. And we wish you nothing but success. And we look forward to hearing all of those good news stories that you report on Breakfast Television. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. That's so sweet. It honestly means a lot. And I credit a lot of my success and who I am really to my years and being a part of the school board as an elementary and high school student. So thank you.
You're
And I
very
wish
welcome.
all of you the best of luck.
Thank you, Nicole. All right, guys. We'll see you. Hope everybody enjoyed that. Nicole, thanks again. Have a great day.